Welcome everyone to the Shelly Sharpe Memorial in Scottsdale, Arizona, playing the beautiful Vista del Camino. We have on the lead card today Ohn Scoggins, Jennifer Allen, myself, Andrea Eaton, and Emily Yale.
My name is Sofia, and here we go. Let's get started on hole number 1, which is a 280-foot par 3.
So we have the triple mando right off the tee and OB that lines the fairway all the way around, left, right, and just outside the circle behind the basket.
Yeah, and that OB line comes up for about a meter in front of the board, so you can scoot along pretty easily.
Ohn getting her big flare skip.
That hit the fence?
It did. Day done. A little bit cooler today, but very little wind so far. We've been pretty lucky so far with the weather. Andrea getting it right underneath the Mando line. Beautiful drive. And this is Emily Yell out of Utah. She's came out the last couple of years to play this event, so it's always great to see her back out. And a great drive to start the round.
Andrea doing a layup there, and it looks like there's some low-hanging branches, so it's hard to run it from this angle.
Yeah, this is a semi-elevated basket, so there are definitely a few branches that make it a little hard, and knowing that it is a little bit sloped downhill, so you can carry away OB very quickly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Ohn just, starting out first thing in the morning, hitting a 55-footer.
The OB comes up pretty quickly after the basket when you're putting down that hill, right?
Yeah, she was not concerned about missing it. I keep just hitting this a little off center left side and just not getting it to stay. That one I felt like was in though.
Yeah, that looked like it had good pace on it. Missed a little side. Emily tapping her par in, as well as yourself, and Andrea. All right, taking a look at hole number 2, which is a par 4, 415 feet.
Yeah, this one actually may be a par 3, I think.
Okay,
they went
yeah.
back and forth on it, but OB on the sidewalk on the left and the fence along this entire property. We need to scoot underneath these low branches of the pine tree and basket placed right behind. New little addition, this tree that SRP planted recently, and it kind of changes the line of the hole a little bit. Takes away the easy hyzer that a lot of people used to throw, so a little bit more of a direct flight on it. Catching up high in those branches, it's hit or miss if you get through when you hit up high. It's really hard to get under them.
Andrea turns it over a little bit, but looks like it stays center fairway.
Nice hole.
That looks like a great drive by Emily as well, and they should both have some nice approaches. Still seems like a tricky approach with those low branches there.
Yeah, the ground at Vista, you get a lot of play off of it, so you don't have to get up in the branches like that. You literally can kind of hit 30 feet back and slide all the way up. So just knowing the ground play here.
Two great approaches by Emily and Andrea. And yours checks up as well.
Yeah, it's a little touchy distance, and you can't. I was gonna say,
Wait,
he's
did
not
she
gonna.
throw in?
She did. Right when I was watching, I was like, oh my gosh, he's not gonna be able to see this. Cameraman right behind Ohn, but yeah, she just kind of skips that. We talked about ground
Wow.
play. through her really high-speed forehand approach that she does and gets an awesome skip right into the basket. So that's going to be for birdie. They are counting this as a par 3 this year. It was a 4 last year for the women, which I believe it is a good par 3. Par 4 was a little too easy for us.
It still seems like a bonus birdie for sure. It seems like a hard hole. And I think Ohn was the only birdie on the day on this hole.
Yeah, it's definitely a bonus get to get the 2 on this hole. So everyone else tapping in their pars.
That's my preferred distance.
All right, moving on to hole number 3, a par 3, 360 feet.
Yep, so you can take the hyzer route around that tree there in the middle or just attack the basket straight ahead, a little bit of a turnover, where we have Andrea with our lefty and Ohn typically throwing forehand. Not a lot of danger except for this is the first kind of extreme elevated basket on the course, and there is a little bit of a slope to the green that can sometimes cause some rollaways.
That was a crush by Ohn right there, landing in a great spot. And that's a crush. Does it come out?
Does. It was slow to hyzer back. Get caught up on the branch over there, but it's going to be, I think, right around circle's edge. Andrea flips this over a little too hard. She is going to scoot OB across the sidewalk. Luckily, no bikers were injured in that shot.
I was gonna say, looks like that biker had a surprise.
Emily's going to scoot that along the top. You can accidentally go over the fence, as well as that little bit of concrete area. If she would have went over the fence there in that ditch is OB as well. It's a very small area. It's unfortunate to sometimes go in. Andrea leaving herself just a little bit long, but she's inside circle. Nice soft touch on that approach by Emily.
Emily's throwing some great approach shots here.
Yeah, she has a really good touch around the green.
That was circle 2 bid by Ohn.
That's the touch with that forehand I'd like to get back because I quit throwing him for a while.
Oh, great putt. Was that circle's edge?
I think it was about, yeah.
Yeah. Great birdie there.
Yeah, and I'm being joking, but I had to do a straddle putt, which is what I'm used to. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to feel comfortable and switch back. I'm sticking to this new staggered stance. I'm trying back. But, you know, the first tournament of the year, you've got to get kind of back into the rhythm, finding your touch. And I think that's what a lot of us are trying to work through with this event.
Yeah, it's tricky bringing what you've practiced into tournament settings where your mind and body feels a little bit different and you're kind of trying to function under stress.
Absolutely.
Emily gets her par. Awesome. So hole number 4 is another par 3, 381 feet.
Yeah, this one a little bit harder to get to. I feel like you're gonna have to get all the way around this big pine tree that is growing some longer branches every day. OB, if you go over the apartments there, or if you go across the sidewalk or the line by the other tee on hole 5. So a little bit of OB, but it's just a hard line to get around this tree now.
That would be that's a big hyzer.
Used to be easy. So
Really?
I'm probably getting weaker and the tree is getting bigger.
No, you're not getting weaker.
But you can scoot under, which is what Ohn and a few of the other ones are trying to do.
Try
It
not
just,
to throw it backhand, but it still hurt my arm.
It seems like now she's got a tricky spot there though when she's
Yeah,
under the branches.
there's something about that tree. It just draws everyone to. It's a pretty common spot to land that you don't really want to be at. See if Emily can get more skip. Nope, she's going to join us.
Under the tree.
Surely the lefty won't come join us.
What's under the tree, Jen?
Yeah. There we go. She's trying though. Look, it was trying to come
Yeah,
out.
but that's a great spot.
Yeah, and I believe that was a tactic. I asked her because I kept thinking it's going to skip. She has a lot of speed on it, and it doesn't. That disc just really grippy, doesn't get the skip like a lot of discs seem to get out here. So
Was it a baseline plastic?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's a smart play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're done.
Doing a little pitch up. No need to attack it.
You didn't have to crouch under the tree, so that's
No.
nice.
And you can give it a run, but again, you can go long so easy on a long bid like that. So it's just really not worth it. We'll say thank you for everyone who came out. You can hear a few claps in the background. We had a pretty good little group that walked with us all 3 days, so that was really nice to see.
Yeah, that's always awesome. All right, moving on to hole number 5, which is a par 4, 386 feet.
It's a par 4 because we have 4 mandos to go through here, left, right, and then the 2 right in front of the basket. These trees have a lot more leaves on them right now. Those look a little bare. Makes the hole look easier, but a few more leaves on the trees. Everything about to start blooming here. So the goal I have switched to is just kind of laying up, going a mid, trying not to cross those mando lines. Since this is a par 4, we're all just trying to land short of those trees, somewhere in the middle, where you can pitch up and take that easy tap in birdie.
Yeah, why not if it's right there?
Yeah, a little bit of a tweener hole. The distance doesn't really qualify it for a par 4, but the OB and the danger has made him push that to a 4 for us.
And you can really see how the leaves are more filled in there and hide away that basket.
So she is going to be safe. She did not cross the mando line, but she's going to have a tricky spot over there to the side. Emily did not make... she's throwing from the drop zone, but she did not get a penalty. That's just where she landed. So lefty forehand, something you don't see a ton of. Really having to stretch out, and that's just such a hard spot, but still an easy par. She's out in the middle, just needs to pitch up.
That's my bet. I sleep there a lot late last
Gets
year.
it through the double mando and has a longer look, but I'm sure she'll be
Yeah.
fine.
That's a tap in for Ohn.
Oh, sit.
Yeah, it's really hard to judge, I think, sometimes the speed on some of these approaches here.
Well, you just want to hit that gap, so you're more worried about that than the speed of your disc sometimes. And
Right, and you're keeping it low, so you're not getting a lot of air on it. So I think you throw it a little bit harder, keeping that low line, and sometimes it'll just scoot too far for you.
Emily laying that up.
Sorry.
So Andrea's going to lay up, sliding into circle 2, unfortunately, for her approach. So Ohn and I will be tapping in the birdies. I guess I won't say tap in. Ohn has to work a little bit. We'll see. Let the tension build.
Oh, she got it. Surprise. That's awesome.
And then Emily will be tapping in par, I believe, and Andrea's going to tap this in for bogey.
Yeah, this hole played as a 3.9, so a lot of birdies. I think 6 birdies on the day. So I guess the play is to play smart here and just get to a good landing zone and lay up and then put your tap in the basket.
Yep. Thank you, Dietrich Designs. Check out the link in the bio.
And on to hole number 6, which is a par 5 for the FPO, and it is 783 feet.
Yeah, pick your way if you want to go hyzer and then try to approach from there. The right side has a few more trees, but there's OB that lines the fairway left and the right side. So trying to go hyzer to the middle, or you can go, and I left that a little low, but I'm going to get some good spin and ground play on it. So the main thing is you're just not landing OB or hitting that tree on the first shot, but you can also take it around the left side here like Ohn is showing us. And we're both still just trying to get to the middle for the best spot for the second shot.
Love that tree.
This is Emily's first forehand drive we've seen, and she had so much power. She'd just been using a forehand for an approach, and it was so soft, and we're like, whoa, where's this been?
Yeah, that was a crush, and she's in a great spot as well. And this seems like a nice lefty hole. You can really let loose on it and let it come back, and it's safe.
Yeah, unfortunately she lands by the tree, but it really does play for the lefty or the forehand shots all the way down the fairway. It is more open on that left side.
And there's an OB line on the right there that starts to come into play as you approach the basket, right?
Correct. It's the entire way. Well, it starts actually the kind of ditch over here to the right. Once you pass that last house, I believe is where the OB line starts. And then it narrows all the way to about circle's edge. So you can see the OB flag there up on the right side. I'm going to try to shoot it and just risk going underneath it and getting a big skip back towards the middle.
So you're hyzering kind of along the OB line and
The whole
then
way.
like skip back in.
Yeah. So as long as you trust your plastic, you know, and don't hit any branches, it's not too risky of a shot.
Owen setting herself up for a nice approach there. Another forehand by Emily, and that looks great as well. Is it going to
It
check
had
up?
so much. You saw that last little.
Oh no, that's too far.
Yeah, she had that last little bend where it kind of turned over and glided a little bit extra. She needed that just to stay hyzering, and Andrea's going to go over there as well. So she stays safe. That must be very close to the line. But it does sneak it in both sides. So this is a hard hole only because the OB really. And the elevated basket.
Oh, yeah, that's something to worry about once you get there.
Yeah.
Get there safely.
So yeah, trying to get this forehand back into my game, and that one came out so clean. I was like, whoa, that went a little further than I thought.
Still in the circle, but
Yeah,
yeah.
still in the
and you're
circle.
putting away from danger, which is always nice.
It has helped. Yeah, it's time to get back out into the field and get the distances dialed back in.
Yeah, the forehand is such an asset when you've got it dialed and you just look at the target and you know exactly how much to put on it.
Yeah.
It's also great for scrambling when you're in the woods or places more bushy and you don't have enough room for the backhand, right? Oh, nice putt by Ohn. Is the circle's edge along the banners, or is that C2?
It is right on the circle, I believe.
Right on line, but a little
Yeah,
low.
trying to be firm with the putt and put on enough on it, but not go too high. I'm going to blame the shoulder. I don't know. I just don't ever raise my... It's so hard for me to raise my arms this high on this course. Loosen up the shoulders, maybe.
Yeah,
Some little
maybe.
yoga moves or something. So unfortunately, with the OBs, that's going to be a bogey for Emily. And I believe Andrew stayed in, so I think she's saved her par.
Yeah, and Ohn was the only birdie on the day for this hole. Moving on to hole number 7, which is a par 5, 645 feet long.
Lots of danger on this hole as well. sidewalk, not the lake, the sidewalk is actually the OB line, as well as on the left, the road. The mando tree right there, and this circle is actually an island. So we do not want to cross the sidewalk that is up in front of us. The first sidewalk there is safe. The second one is going to be the island
I
line.
had to
So
throw different deals today because a little bit.
just getting the first shot or two out there into the middle of the fairway. To really land where I want to land to attack the basket, I have to push that OB on the right the entire time. If you throw it too straight, being afraid of hitting walkers or whatever it may be, you're going to usually take a skip over underneath the trees on the left, and that almost guarantees you no way to attack the green.
Yeah, so as a righty backhand, you want to throw something you trust to come back so you can rip on it.
Absolutely. Sneaking by the pole there, so you'll see this, well, not too bad of a skip, but you're still going to get a good 20 feet to the left when it hits typically, so.
Those
Hard to
trees on
approach.
the left make it hard to approach. The island that you can now see towards where Andrea's disc is landing. So is this an approach
It's
to the OB line?
Yeah, everyone just pitching up, trying to not risk going over the OB line, but still getting up far enough to where you can see around that last mando tree. And it is, again, a little bit easier of a line if you stay more to the right.
That's gonna
Getting too far to the left is a little bit harder. You kind of have to go up and over that last tree.
Are you going for the island here?
I'm going for it.
And that looks safe, so that's a great second shot there. But you set yourself up well with that first drive. You stayed out wide and had another big shot and made it.
Yeah, it puts me about 300 feet, I believe. I think I went Firebird. And that's the last mando tree to get around, and it is thick, and you can see it gets hit a lot. All the leaves on the
Yep.
ground. Proof of that. Both of these trees taking a lot of hits. Ohn puts a little bit too much on that. She was a little closer than the previous days on that left side, so she had to swing it around either a little softer or a lot more vertical, and that might have stayed in. Emily's doing the same thing, but she just catches inside that wall.
You got it.
That was a funny face. Yeah, I would have felt the same.
She was so fun to play with. She's
Aw.
really quiet, but also outgoing.
Yeah.
So
Ohn from the drop zone and perfect after that.
Too much juice.
Okay, too much juice, I guess.
I think she was talking about the first one still. That one did
Oh.
have a little bit on it, but it will not be a problem for Ohn.
Lay off the juice, Ohn.
Yep. This is a beautiful forehand approach by Andrea in a pretty tricky spot. And that's how I feel. Emily and I feel the same with these long bids. We have got to figure out how Ohn puts so much power on them from back there, because to get the height and the speed on that much elevation to us, it's a difficult putt. It's just not normal from what you practice. I mean, you can practice and practice every day and then come out here and your putt's totally different.
There you go.
Closer, it's a little bit easier to really put that pop, but when you're at that far distance.
Tap an eagle for Jen, too. That was awesome.
Thank you. There we go. Emily, unfortunately, with the double bogey.
Felt like a real putt, at least. Like the last one.
And we're moving on to the water hole.
All right, hole number 8, which is a par 3, 289 feet.
360 feet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm having trouble here, but
We're going to make it across this water. It's about 280-300 to cross to get safely on the land. The water clearly OB. I'm going with the Jen Allen Halo Rock 3, the stable rock that I can just put a lot on and trust that it's going to slide up there.
And that's perfect. I think I was mixing this up with the other water hole.
Yes.
Um,
You're getting ahead of yourself
I
there.
am.
She was trying to be a good host here and get those distances. We tricked her. So Andrea pitching over, laying up, which is the safe play, but it is still difficult sometimes to get through those trees guarding the basket there. Ohn going for it this year for the first time, and she has been very successful with it.
yeah, that was perfect amount to get to dry land.
Yeah, and that's really all what we're trying to do is just make sure that we're safe and can easily get a 3.
The layup play is also tricky though. Like you see Emily's disc got to the other side of those trees, but
Yeah,
I mean,
very
Andrea,
lucky to not skip into the water. And then the approach for the lefty, I think, is really difficult. Andrea does well getting it through the trees.
That was a very technical shot. She executed it nicely.
Yeah, this is a great spot, but very risky to land your disc. Landing a little bit further up that sidewalk there is safer. There is a hole just to kind of putt across. But I told the girls, like, I think it's harder to lay up than it is to go over. I don't think I could successfully land on that very slim piece of land over there.
Ohn getting medal from Circle 2.
Yeah, needing to get these just a little bit closer. We keep finding ourselves right about circle's edge on all of these putts.
Yeah.
And Ohn and I both just landing a hair low. We were talked a couple of times. This basket is a little bit higher than typical. This one's one of usually the lower baskets on the Shelly Sharpe layout. It is, I think they just had to switch the pole. So all of us are like, wait a second. If this basket would have been at the right height, all of those putts would have been in.
Yeah, you can see the pole sticking up, but yeah, so it's normally low hay. That's
A little bit lower, and so I think Andrea's would have stayed in as well. We had Emily scared at this point that she wasn't going to get her tap in. So, good group of ladies just having a good time. But I'm wondering if maybe the pole didn't get damaged and they had to bring in a new pole.
maybe.
Either way, that's a bunch of 3s. Shout out to Terry Miller, always bringing everyone the coverage that they want to see.
Yep. Let's go. All right, hole number 9 is a par 3, 324 feet.
So this is the FPO tee pad. MPO does play a different tee pad. Ohn getting a nice safe hyzer.
I can putt.
So in this hole, you can get some crazy flare skipping into the water, can't you?
A little bit. It is a drier than usual. So we have a little bit more edge before the water comes in. Main thing, don't want to get caught up on the branches on the left side of these pine trees. They'll drop you straight down, as well as you can push it a little too far right and get caught up as well. Emily burns it down just a little bit short, but she'll have a good approach. And Andrea's just naturally hyzering over there for the lefty. Safe is the main thing.
Yeah, you don't want to crank it over to the left as the lefty, and as a righty, you don't want to kind of fade early or skip OB. So safe is the main thing here. A great approach by Emily.
So low branches kind of getting in the way to keep the height on such a long distance putt. And it really was in her way. I didn't know it was that much in her way.
Shoot.
So I did skip OB. Tried to save the par. I thought I had it. Felt really good about it.
That thing is so loud.
Oh man.
I made the basket elevated even though it was regular height because I was down like 2 feet.
Oh my goodness. Did you get your disc back?
Yeah, it was right on the edge. Just barely skipped in. Had some awesome spotters. Shout out to all the spotters that volunteered for all 3 days. We had some great spotters out there. So Thank you to them. Thank you for everyone for watching. This is already wrapping up the front 9 of round 2.
Yep.
So Ohn is going to finish at 14 under for the tournament so far.
And especially on
I am at 10 under, Andrea is at 4 over, and Emily is at 5 over.
So a close race for third place.
Yeah, and we have someone coming in from the chase card. Ashley Phelps is at 1 under for the day so far, which is putting her at 3 over overall.
Wow, look at that battle for third and as well for first. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you for the back 9.